Hello and welcome to Chaotic Crochet Chatter with Stitchcraft Gifts. My name is Jenny. I am a visually impaired crocheter based in North Yorkshire in the UK, where I live with my husband and our son and our cat. This is the place where I share with you what I've been up to recently, what my plans are for the next couple of weeks, and a few other bits and bobs, whatever takes my fancy. So, it's probably going to be a long one, it usually is. Make sure you're comfortable or that you are happy to pause and come back later if you need to, and I shall begin. Good morning. It is Wednesday again. I believe it's the 22nd of May. It must be because it's my dad's birthday on Friday. My voice is going already. This is really annoying. I've brought tea up and everything. I've got my You Had Me at Meow mug today, which one of my sisters bought me a couple of Christmases ago, I think. Oh, I've got honey all down the outside. Tea and honey I'm drinking today to try and help my throat a bit. How are you doing? I'm a bit all over the place today. There's a lot going on in my head. Nothing worrying or upsetting or anything, just a lot to think about. I've got sticky fingers now. Oh, this is going well already, isn't it? There we go. So yeah, feeling a bit scattered. But I shall try and keep it together for the next hour or so. Try and stay at least vaguely coherent. If you've been here for a little while, you will know that that's about as good as it gets anyway. So, as per usual, I have got a finished object or two, some works in progress. Nothing on my radar today. I've been too busy. A couple of acquisitions. Yeah, and I'm going to start with chatter. As always, there will be chapters running along the bottom of the video, or you can find them in the description. So if you want to skip any sections, you can do that easily and just move on to the next one. I'll put notes down in the description as well. Links to my Ravelry project pages where necessary, no, where relevant. Oh, this is going to go well. And details of anyone I mention who you might want to look up. I think that's all the housekeeping. I've probably forgotten something. There'll be links to all the places you can find me other than here as well. Instagram is your best bet usually, or of course my website. There will be my email address as well if you want to get in touch. You are also always welcome to comment on the video. I will probably say this again at the end, but you know, like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. So, chatter. Slurp of tea and then chatter. When I sat down this morning to write my notes, which I always intend to do on a Tuesday and somehow I never get round to, I sat down to write my notes and I thought, what have I been up to? I feel like I've been really busy, but then I couldn't think of anything that I'd done. So I went back through my calendar and it turns out actually I've been doing quite a lot. It shows actually because the amount of crafting that I've done has been much less than usual, or certainly much less than last time. But it's because I've actually been like sociable and out doing things, which is very unlike me. So just after I spoke to you last time, in fact on the day that the last episode went live on YouTube, I had a lovely night out with my mum and my sisters and my brother's girlfriend. we all managed to get together. The next oldest of my sisters was working, but she manages a pub, so we went to her pub. We had dinner there and some drinks, and she was able to come over and join us for a few minutes every now and then. Obviously not the same as her properly coming on a night out with us, but at least I got to see her and she could be a bit involved. I also was able to have a little cuddle with Ivy, my niece, before we went out, and her stepsister Macy, who is also my niece. Come on, let's be honest. So it was lovely to see both of them. And it was just a really, really nice time. I had to be very careful with the alcohol consumption and with not staying up too late, because the very next day I was at a craft market and had to be in Wetherby for 8:30, which meant getting up at 6, which it was a good 45 minutes earlier than I normally do, which was fine actually. In the end, I was very sensible on the Friday night, and I did have a few cocktails, but not too many, and when I got home I made sure I had a good drink of water and a bit to eat, and I felt fine. On the Wednesday I was tired, but the Saturday, tired but no more than usual. Unfortunately, the market itself did not go well for me. I made one sale, which consisted of £2. And that was right at the end of the day. So it was nice to be there. It was nice to chat to people. I don't know what was going on. Everybody else who was there seemed to have quite a good day, and people just were bypassing my table. So for the next market, I've got the one I'm hosting and then another one in Wetherby again. I think it might not be, but I think it is 2 in June. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a rethink about how I lay my table out, tweak a couple of other little bits, and hopefully reel people in a bit more, at least get them to come and talk to me, even if they don't buy anything. So yeah, that was a disappointment, but onwards and upwards, never mind. What else was I going to say? Other things to tell you about. I've had some lovely visits from friends. We have our friend Dawn came. She is known as Dawny Canyon Artwork on Instagram. She is an amazing artist. Please do go and look at her work and follow her and support her and just give her all the love, because she is an amazing human being, super talented. She has done us a very special commission, which I did share on Instagram, so you'll be able to see it on my feed if you want to go and have a look. And it was just so lovely to see her and catch up with her. She's been through the ringer in the last few years, even more than most, and she's still going strong. It's incredible. So Dawn, if you see this, hello. It was so lovely to see you, and hopefully it won't take us quite so long next time. It's been years. I've got honey on my thumb again. It's all down the outside of my cup. Sorry, hang on. That's a bit better, I think. I just need to be a little bit careful how I hold this today. I don't want to get all my work sticky. I also had a visit from my friend Becky, who is much more local. It's still been far too long since I saw her, and even longer since she's been here. She came round just for a chat last Wednesday afternoon, and we had a good little catch up, and again it was just really, really lovely to see her again. We've actually scheduled in our next visit, just because we're both pretty terrible at remembering to organise something. She's always just really busy, especially now that she's back working part-time. And I forget. Quite honestly, I just forget to message people. So we've got that in our calendars, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that everybody's okay and we can go ahead with it. It's in a couple of weeks' time, I think. And the other big news is I yesterday went and registered with a job agency just for temporary work, admin type stuff that I can hopefully do at home. I might be able to manage a day here and there in an office, but really I need to be here for the sake of my eyes. Whether or not anything suitable will come up, I don't know, but I hope something does. I don't really want to be out working traditionally again, but we're feeling the pinch a bit financially at the moment. And you know, the household stuff's okay, but there's not a lot spare. I mean, we're still in a better position than some, don't get me wrong, and we're not desperate for money. But yeah, it's always nice to have more, isn't it? So yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me that something comes my way that I can do. If you've got any ideas for ways that I could earn a bit of extra cash, let me know. Nothing dodgy, please. Yeah, so we'll see what comes of that. We will see. And I think that's about it for chatter. I think. Yeah. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on here. It was fine first thing. Now that I'm actually talking and trying to, you know, be useful and communicate, my throat's just gone. So I hope I sound alright. Anyway, yes, that is all the chatter. So I shall move on to finished objects. I don't have a lot to show you. Like I said, I've been busy doing other things, so the craft side has suffered. I have two finished objects. The first I can't show you properly because it is in a box over there because it went to the market the weekend before last, and it will be going to my next one, so it's just staying in the box. I will pop some pictures up. Sorry, my chair's gone all creaky. I'm pretty sure I took some. This is my scrappy moss stitch zipper pouch. There is no pattern to tell you about, it's just moss stitch. You can find tutorials for moss stitch if you want to on YouTube, if you like videos, on various blogs if you'd rather have a written description. It's one of my favourite stitches. I always think it looks really pretty. And this was made just using scrap yarn from my stash. I think it's all from last year's Crochet Society Advent calendar, in fact. And I just picked out a bunch of random colours and didn't think too hard about what order I was using them in or how many rows I was doing of each one or anything. I just did some rows of moss stitch in two separate panels, then sewed them to a pre-existing zipped pouch and crocheted around the edge. Simple and easy, but I think quite effective. So yeah, that's that. That was quick. The second finished object is much more exciting. I think I told you last time, I can't remember now, I was testing a pattern for Shelley of Brambles and Heart. It's a little Aspen dress pattern, and yesterday I finished it. Can I get it all in? Oh, not quite. I'm just going to come back a bit. There we go. So it's a child's dress. This is in theory the size 9 to 10, although I think it's worked up a tiny bit small. I need to measure it. Come back again. What can I say about it? It has got a lovely, ruffly little cap sleeves. It's got this gorgeous detail on the yoke with puff stitches. It's got buttons that can be either the front or back. I have not blocked this yet. That is the one last thing I need to do, but I will be doing that pretty much straight after recording this, so I'm still counting it as finished. And then the skirt is this lovely shell stitch, just shell stitch all the way around. And I think, and pretty much everyone else in the task group agreed and was saying the same thing, it looks like a mermaid dress. It's just so pretty. I think in this colour in particular, it looks very, very mermaidy. So I have got, well, I'm going to block it and take photos and send all the details to Shelley, and then I have broached the subject of modelling with the parents of one of Ned's friends from school, who I think it will fit. So I need to measure it up and then message them again and say, right, if it fits her, would you like to model it? And then keep it. Because I've got no use for it. It's been a lovely pattern to test, and now that the testing's done, I'm going to make a smaller version, the baby size version, for my niece. I need to find something to make for Macy as well, actually. So make a dress for my baby niece, Ivy. And then see if I can make something for Macy to go with. I don't know, that might fit. I'll have to get her measurements off my sister and see. Anyway, details. So the pattern is, as I said, the little Aspen dress by Brambles and Heart. He is Shelley Worth. It has been designed for a DK weight yarn. My tension is ridiculously loose. So I have ended up using a fingering weight yarn to get something that was drapey enough. It is using Hobby Cotton Kings Twirls in colourway 14. Where did I put my phone? In my pocket. It's unusual. Let me see if I can quickly find a name for that colourway. Oh, well, there's actually two colourways because I ran out. So let's see. Hobby Cotton Kings Twirls. Oh, that's not how you spell twirls. Twirls. Colourways. Thing is, it's not, I don't think they sell it anymore. I think it was discontinued a while ago. And they now do, it's a very similar yarn called Sultan Deluxe, but all the colourways are slightly different. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to tell you right now. I will find it out, and no, I can't find it. I will try and find it out and put it on the project page on Ravelry, so you know what the colour's called. There are actually two. The very bottom of the skirt from about there down is from a different cake of yarn. Same type of yarn, different colourway. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with this. It's worked up so nicely, relatively quickly, even though I had the biggest size to do. So making a baby version should be no trouble at all. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. So that's that. Oh, that was handy. The notebook for that project fell off my desk back into the project bag. Obviously wanted to go home. Let me stash that back out of the way and have some more tea before it goes cold. The honey hasn't mixed in very well. It's sunk to the bottom a bit. It's really sweet. Right, I've just downed that because it's started to go cold already. Gonna have to start using one of those thermal travel cups for podcasting. Always goes cold too quickly. Right, yes, that is all my finished objects. So I will now talk about my works in progress. I've got quite a few going on. So ones that won't take a huge amount of time. Sacred Space blanket, no point showing you. I don't think I've touched it since last time. It is still sat there downstairs. It is, you know, I'm still counting it as active because I do want to keep working on it. I just haven't had time. I haven't had time at all. So what have I done? I have done more spinning as part of the 100 Days Project tag on Instagram. Not that I've been posting on Instagram very much about it at all. I am still spinning the bamboo fibre. Still enjoying it very much. I think you can see on there that I've got a pretty consistent spin going at the moment. It is a bit thick and thin still. Oh, there's a bit of wispy there where there was a join. But much less than it was at the beginning, and much, much less than it's been with either of the wool fibres that I've used. So that's still going really well. I have got that much of the fibre left. You see that through the bag. That much of the fibre left. I don't even know how much that is. Less than half, though, definitely less than half. And it's really wispy and all the little fibres get stuck to you. Yeah, so I'll keep going. What was I going to say then? The 100 Days project is ending soon. I can't remember exactly when, but it is soon. That said, I have missed a few days and I won't be able to do any spinning next week, which I'll tell you more about later. So the official 100 Days project ends very soon. My 100 Days project will end a couple of weeks later because I want to keep going so that I have done the full 100 days, even if it wasn't all at once, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So that's my spinning. Still going. Something else I'm not going to show you because it's a semi-secret. The project for my brother, I think I mentioned last time, I'm making him what will be a very late birthday present because we're already past his birthday by about a month. More than a month, about a month and a half. I have completely restarted as of yesterday because, again, without wishing to give too much away in case he sees this, the way I was doing it was too fiddly, it was taking too long, I was getting frustrated with it. So I am still doing the same project. He's going to get the same finished item, essentially, just with a couple of changes that are making it so much easier to work up. I did about just short of 3 hours work on it yesterday and got as much done as I had previously done in almost 10 hours. So it's working up loads quicker and is much more enjoyable. So I feel like I'm actually making progress on that now. There won't be any pictures or anything until it's completely finished and given to him, but I will try and remember to do a quick update just of how far I've got each time I speak to you. Other works in progress. I've taken up French knitting. I have plans for what to use it for. I'm not going to say exactly what those plans are right now because they are a little bit up in the air. This is coming undone. Don't come undone. Tangled. How have I got it tangled? So this is the little, that's my phone, which I didn't put on silent. This is my little manual French knitting dolly that I've got. It's like a bee. It's cute. I think the other name for them is knitting bees. And that's, I think, actually my best work so far on the manual one. So I've been having fun doing that. It's like smile, wee, smile. I've done lots of little bits. I've just dropped that yarn. So I've got a few. That's in the wrong bag. A few bits and pieces that I have produced. It's taken me a little while to get the hang of like maintaining decent tension, which is important, and that sort of thing, but I'm getting there with it. And I have now gone the whole hog and bought myself a French knitting machine, just one of the little manually operated ones. I will show it later on in acquisitions. One moment. Let's pick that yarn up that I dropped. Because I want to be able to produce reasonably large quantities of the cord quickly. So I will show you that in a bit. But mostly I'm just having fun. It's a little thing to do that keeps my hands busy. It's really easy to pick up and put down. If I've got, a few minutes to kill, I can just do a little bit. It's going to be really good, actually. The machine is going to be really good for when it comes to editing this podcast later or tomorrow. So yeah, perfect for that. So watch this space for what I'm doing with it. You might already have an idea in your head. If you think you know, feel free to comment on the on this episode and let me know what you're thinking. See whether you're right. It probably won't be a surprise at all when I do show you. I'm hoping to get some bits done though in time for my market. That said, I've got a lot on, so we'll see. Right, final work in progress for now. Final work in progress that I am working on at the moment. I said last time that in order to get through my hibernating works in progress a bit more productively, I was going to pull out a new one. Not necessarily every episode, because it depends how much I've managed to work on them. But as soon as I finish one, then pull out another one on the next episode, and so on. And I think I showed you last time my festive furs jumper that I'm working on. The pattern is by Manatee Squares. The yarn is Drops Big Merino. It's lovely. And I think I told you last time that the reason this got stuck is because although the body of the jumper was fitting nicely. I'd messed it with the sleeves, got really disheartened with it, and so just left it. I have now, since then, frogged both sleeves, tidied up the bits where they came off, and done one sleeve. And I've tried it on. I haven't woven the end in yet because I want to make absolutely sure it is absolutely right before doing that. But I have tried it on with one sleeve and it looks good. So there we go. It's a really lovely pattern. I have reworked it for the sleeves so that I can... So the pattern has you making the sleeves from the cuff up in separate pieces and then attaching them to the body. I think that's why I didn't like it. I didn't like how that worked out. So I have actually started up here. Can I find the join? Yes, it's really obvious. There. And reworked the chart. I just redrew it upside down so that I can work the sleeves from the shoulder to the cuff, which I'm much happier with. It means I can check the length, check the fit as I go. I have done a little bit of decreasing. I think you can tell just that it's slightly wider at the top than at the cuff. Ideally I would have decreased a bit more, but I can't be bothered to do it a third time. And I'm pretty happy with it. It means I'll be a little bit baggier than I would normally like at the wrist, but it's fine. And this is very much a winter jumper. This is my Christmas, should have been my 2023 Christmas jumper. It's now going to be my 2024 Christmas jumper. So, you know, I'm going to be wearing it when it's cold. So I'll have another layer on, or fingerless gloves or something underneath anyway, so I don't need it tight at the wrist. And yeah, I just need to do the other one. Didn't take me too long to do that. I've made decent notes on my phone, I think. Probably ought to actually write them down somewhere before I accidentally delete it. Yeah, so hopefully, she says, knowing full well how much else I've got to do, hopefully I'll have that finished next time I speak to you. I probably won't, but there's no rush. There's no rush. I've got other things that are more time sensitive at the moment. I know it's there. I know that once I do get to it, it won't take me long. So at some point you will see that as a finished object. If you're very lucky, you'll even see me wearing it. Not properly, because it's the wrong time of year, but yeah, if we're not in the middle of a heat wave when I finish it, I'll put it on and take some photos and stuff. Right, next cast on, or in this particular case, next cast ons. Oh, the list is getting longer and longer. So, I told you last time, again, lots of things I'm repeating from last time, that Ned has asked me to make him a new Pokemon toy for one where a pattern does not yet exist. I've said I will give it a go. It's, you know, I could have said no and I didn't. The Pokemon is, I believe, called Salazzle. I shall put another picture here so you can see the Pokemon in question. I have not yet started it. I meant to, there's been a lot. So I must get that started. Even if I don't make much progress, at least I can then say I've started it. I've got the yarn now, which again I'll show you in a little bit. I also need to start and very quickly finish something I want to make for Kelvin, which I won't show you now, just in case he sees this video. You probably won't, but you never know. There's a little something I want to make for his birthday, which is next week. That's why we're away. Have I said we're going away? I can't remember. I said my brain is... I want to make more pouches for the next couple of markets. Not necessarily loads, but at least, you know, another one or two. I still want to start on that summer top that I talked about last time, and I've just volunteered. I really shouldn't have done, but I have, and I'm going to do it because I really want to. I volunteered to test another pattern for Emma of Stitched Up by Emma, who I've tested for before. The pattern's come through, it's in my inbox. I need to have a proper look and pick out the yarn. I am thinking that's probably quite a good project to take with me next week, because her patterns are, although beautiful, usually pretty simple, and are, I think again this one is based on a repeating pattern, so once it's in my head I can just crack on. And I don't think it needs finishing till towards the end of June. I need to check, obviously. So I think I'll pick out the yarn today, maybe tomorrow. I've got an idea of what I want to use, but we'll see. See how much of it I've got, whether it's enough. And I will try and get it started this week. Not that there's much of the week left. But yes, I'm thinking as long as the dates and everything are right, I'm going to pack it up and take it with me. And then it can be my holiday evening crochet, which will be lovely. So yeah, quite a few things that need starting, some of which need finishing quite quickly too. Oh, and I didn't write it down, but I have another semi-secret project which my mum knows about but nobody else does yet, because my mum has commissioned me to make something. Again, it doesn't need completing for 2 or 3 weeks, but that's not that long. Again, I've agreed to it. I want to do it. Mum, if you're watching, I'm not, this isn't me going, oh my god. No, I'm happy about it. I really want to do it, and I will do it. I just really need to stop saying yes to things. That's it now. Nothing new until, oh well, the next thing comes along. I was going to say until the end of June, but I know what I'm like. I'll see something else and I'll want to make it and I'll fit it in somewhere. It's fine. Fine. Maybe. There is nothing on my radar this time. I just haven't spent as much time looking at things because I've been doing other stuff. So no on my radar section this episode. Just not my computer. Well, my screen. Acquisitions. There are 2. Right. Hang on a sec. So I said I was going to show you my little French knitting machine. It is all set up with a bit that I'm working on at the moment, so I need to be careful. Here it is. It is so easy to use. So easy to use. It took me a little while to, again, just work out the tension, where the tension needs to be, to make sure that the stitches form properly. Every now and then there's a little glitch and one of the hooks won't quite catch properly, which you can actually see happened there. So there's a bit of an inconsistency there, but look at all that. Look how consistent and neat that is. And that took me about 10 minutes. It would have taken probably, I don't know, I don't even know how long, but a lot longer than that to do it by hand. This is just a little weight that you put on so that it keeps the tension. I've just got some acrylic yarn from my stash. I think I've got the label hanging about. Yes, I have. It's this yarn. Hang on. It's okay. Peter Pan Pixie DK in Sulky, I think this colourway. Yes, number 3128. It's a DK weight. It is, I think, 100% acrylic. Where does it say? It feels like it is. It must say it somewhere. 100% acrylic, yes. Approximately 225 metres, or I think that says 246 yards per 100 grams. It's really lovely and soft. I didn't have any particular reason for picking that out of my stash. I just wanted some acrylic yarn to practice with. And that wasn't... There's a pretty good amount of it left, but it's not a full skein, so now I'm not saving it for anything. And it's dead simple. You don't hold on to the yarn at this end at all. You just let it hang freely, nice and loose. Make sure the tension's on there, and you just spin and hope. Yeah, it's doing it. It's going round. It's going round, and it's forming the stitches beautifully, and just keep going. So that, I'm really, really happy with that. I got this off Temu. I spent a while not boycotting Temu, but saying no, I'm not going to shop from there. I spent too much money already. I don't need somewhere else to be shopping from. It has saved me so much money. I got the things for the party bags for Ned's birthday from there at about a third of the cost that it would have cost me from anywhere else. That was about a £5, and I think the cheapest one I could find anywhere else was 17 quid. Maybe a tenner, but still half price. I've got a skirt from there that was a tenner and would easily have been twice that anywhere else. Is it ideal? No, I'm sure it's not sustainably sourced things. I'm sure there are all kinds of ethical issues with shopping from there. I do feel bad about that, but at the same time I need to not spend much money, and sometimes I need things. So, you know, it's one of those. So yes, if you are in a similar boat and you don't mind waiting a little bit for things to turn up, not really, really long. I think it took a couple of weeks. Not even that long. A week, maybe 10 days. Which, okay, Amazon Prime's a lot quicker if you've got it. But it's also usually more expensive. So if you're not in a desperate rush for something and you want to save some pennies and you can live with yourself, then yeah, Temu's great. One more acquisition. This is the yarn for Salazzle, for the project I'm doing for Ned. I won't get it all out, but I'll try and get a bit in each colour. We've got colour number 11. I'll tell you the yarn in a minute. That's 11 as well. That's 11 as well. There is another colour. There we go. Whoop. Colour 11 and colour 61 of, where's the information gone? Amigo from Hobby. Is it focusing? I think so. It's another 100% acrylic yarn. It feels lovely and soft. I've not used it before, but I've heard good things about it. Yeah, 100% acrylic, 50 gram skeins. What's the yardage? It will say it somewhere. It will do all that. 175 metres or 191 yards per 50 grams. So it's about a DK. Yeah, it feels gorgeous. I had no idea how much I'm going to need. I still have no idea. So I've just bought a few balls of each, and hopefully it will be enough. I may have some left over. Oh no, what a shame. There's more of... Which way around are they? Is that the grey? Whichever one's grey I've got more of, because that's the main colour that I need. For those who don't know, I am starting to go colourblind. I can see colour, but I can't always tell what the colour is, which probably doesn't make any sense, and I can't explain it right now, but if you want to know more then ask me and I'll do my best. Yeah, yarn, yay. So that is for Ned's amigurumi project. So yeah, plenty of that. So again, not much in the way of acquisitions this time. That is because I am trying to not spend too much money at the moment. Like I said, things are less comfortable than they were. I mean, I have bought other stuff, but none of it's relevant to today. So yeah, that's that, which means we are very nearly done. I will just tell you a little bit about my upcoming plans. The big thing is, as I have mentioned a couple of times now, we are away next week. It is the May half-term holiday here in this part of the UK. I don't actually know whether it's the same across the country. Quite often isn't. But it's the May half-term holiday for us, so Ned's off school. It will also be Kelvin's 40th birthday on the 31st of May, and so we are going down to Dorset for the week. And the reason we're going to Dorset is because in a place called Bovington there is a tank museum. Kelvin is a massive military history nerd. Yeah, there's quite a few toy tanks in the house. Tanks are his thing, and that's cool. It's fine. I am not interested at all, so really this was the only way he was going to get me there. If it had just been a normal holiday, no, we're not going down there. Not just to go to the tank museum. But it's his birthday, it's a big one. It's cool. Ned's quite interested too, so hopefully they will both have lots of fun looking at all the tanks, and Kelvin can teach Ned about them all, and I will trail around after them going, oh yeah, okay. I might see if I can take some sort of crochet with me that I can manage to do while sort of on the move. We'll see. They do apparently have a very good cafe and a couple of kids play areas, so I'm sure we can make it a fun day. And of course that is only one day out of the week, that we will be doing other things as well. We haven't got any concrete plans for the rest of the week, but I have been researching yarn shops, and we will try and find some form of wildlife to go and look at, whether that be in a zoo or a wildlife park or an aquarium or a sanctuary of some kind. I don't know exactly what's down there, but I'm sure we'll find something. If you see this before, well, I suppose any time up till the 28th of May, because we'll still have a couple of days after that, and you know the area and you have any suggestions for what we could do, please do let me know. Drop a comment or an email. All ideas are welcome. Yeah, we've got a week to fill. It's quite a long journey for us, so we are splitting it. There's a Premier Inn, well, there's a few, but there is a particular Premier Inn in Oxford that we're going to stay in, both on the way down and again on the way back. and we will be going very close to Stonehenge on the way down, so we're going to pay that a visit as well. Kelvin and I have both been before, but years ago now, before Ned was born, and so obviously Ned hasn't. And apparently it's been done up a bit since we went. There's like a brand new visitor centre and that sort of thing, so we are planning to visit that on the way. Other plans. There's for the next time I speak to you, but not by much. There is the market that I am hosting on the 8th of June in Harrogate. There are still a few spaces for vendors, so again, if you see this any time before, let's say the 6th of June, drop me an email and I'll send you the booking form and the payment details and I'll get you in if there are still spaces by then. It is filling up, you know, I'm not as worried as I was, but also it's getting close now and I need to fill it. I don't know why this one's taken a while to fill up compared to previous. Maybe just the time of year, I don't know, but it'll all be fine. I've got a couple of plans to mitigate the cost, so what else? Slightly more long-term plans. I've got my operation on the 18th of June, having my face sorted out internally. Externally it's fine but my sinuses give me out, so hopefully getting that sorted. I will be out of action in terms of camera for at least a week, probably longer after that. So I don't know what I'll do about podcasting. I'll work it out near the time, possibly at the time, and I will keep you posted one way or another. Keep an eye on my Instagram and on the community section here, and I'll let you know what I'm doing. Leading on from that, a little reminder that my podcast birthday is coming up. My first podcast birthday. I think it's the beginning of July. I need to check the exact date. And I will be doing a giveaway just to celebrate that it's my podcast birthday. Again, best thing to do to stay in the loop about that is to subscribe to the channel. So you don't miss any videos. I will post about it on Instagram a bit closer to the time as well. I've got one really good prize already. I am hoping to get a couple more together, but slow going on that. If you feel like donating anything, feel free. Absolutely no pressure, but if you'd like to, I'd be incredibly grateful. And it doesn't have to be crochet related or even crafting related, just let me know. I think that's about it. My next podcast I'll be recording after we get back. Hang on, my market's on the 8th, so the Friday must be the 7th of June. So I think that's when my next podcast episode will go up on YouTube for you. I feel like I've forgotten to say a whole bunch of stuff, but because I've forgotten it, I don't know what it is. So I think that brings us to the end. I hope I have managed to be at least semi-coherent for you. I hope it doesn't feel rushed. I feel like I've sped through things a bit, but that's just the way it's all going in here at the moment. Everything's going excuse me a sec. I hope I've sounded okay despite the weird throat stuff going on. And I hope you've enjoyed watching and or listening. So I shall just leave you with a little reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, to like this video if you have enjoyed it, to comment with answers to any of the things that I've asked about, or just to say hello. It's always lovely to hear from people. And to share this video if you know anyone else who might be even remotely interested, or shout about it on your own Instagram feed or wherever else you might have a social media presence. If you do, what else can I say? Follow me on Instagram, please. Pop on over to my Ko-fi page. It's not very exciting, but you never know. Watch my other videos. There's my daily crafty chat videos at the moment, which I'm intending to carry on doing for the foreseeable. Again, there might be a lull after the operation, but we'll see. They are very short, so nice little filler videos if you've got 10 minutes here or there. And that's it. I shall stop rambling on. I shall wish you a very happy day, whatever it is you are up to, whenever it is you are watching this. And I will say goodbye. Alright, take care, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Bye.